guys, we're back in the shop. As you can see, we finished up with that Honda. Now I've got this 2017, 2018. Now I want to check. Yep, 2017 I don't know what I'm working on. F250. What we're going to do today is he is sick of the small fuel tank. He travels with this. He pulls a gooseneck camper. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. We're going to install a 55-gallon Titan fuel tank. We're going to install this, get it all together, and I think from Titan's website, you don't have to do any programming, but I'll go in. I've got my IDS. I can see if I can adjust the fuel tank size. I've also got 4Scan, so maybe if the IDS can't, maybe 4Scan can. I don't know. Well, I'll do a little digging. I'll hook both of them up, see what we can figure out. Okay, I already did some unboxing on this, so if you guys won't get to see it completely, fuel filter goes. Vents, filler neck and vent for that. Good Lord. It also comes with an envelope with, I believe it's directions and just the other disclaimers and other things like that. Yep, comes with a new O-ring for the fuel pump center unit, because these new, in 2017, Ford started putting the fuel pumps in the tank, which I thought was a really good idea. Yeah, it's just got directions and stuff like that. Technical bulletins. And then, because this tank is so long, I'm pretty sure it retains 2 of the factory mounting locations. But since it's so long, I think they have to add up front. I'll find out for sure. I'll show you guys. But it comes with mounting and bolts and some stuff like that. And a parts sheet. So, anyway, not a whole lot to it. But I'm going to take you along, show you guys how to do this. And we'll get this thing done, get it back to the customer so he can, this time, after this, go a lot longer between fuel stops, which is going to be a lot nicer for him. Okay, I got the truck up on the lift. You guys are probably going to have to do it on the floor if you don't have a lift. I didn't always have a lift, so I still got a bunch of work done. You can still do a ton of stuff. It's just a little harder. Actually, sometimes a lot of the SuperDuty stuff, whenever I'm doing EGR coolers and oil coolers on 6.0s, they never come off the ground. It's just easier to crawl around underneath and do things. You spend most time on top of the engine. Anyway, first thing we're going to do is pull the drive shaft out, get it out of our way. That way we can get up to the top of the tank as we're bringing it down, disconnect everything. So let's start with these 12mm 12 points. Okay, the next thing I'm going to go after is a skid plate. This truck has it. Yours may have it, may not have it. So I'm going to show you all the mounting locations. I'm going to take those loose. If I remember correctly, and looking here, they all look to be 13 millimeter. One up front, two in the rear on the inside, and then two up front and one in the rear on the outside. Okay, as you can see here, got the two there. You can see it comes down, brackets there. If we go up front here, bracket, we got one bolt there, two bolts here, and then one bolt in the back to the inside of the leaf spring. So those are pretty easy to get to. Knock that off, and then I will most likely start on removing the fuel filter housing, because we need to get that off this tank. Actually, we can leave it on this tank. When we pull it down, we'll just be disconnecting these lines right here, but I'll show you as I do that. And then I've got the filler neck, and the vent may be attached to the tank. I don't know, we'll find out. But the filler neck, you can either take it loose up top by the filler door where the cap is, or down here, or both, whatever you find easiest. I usually take them loose here and then use a pick and work around to break that loose, and I'll spray some WD-40 or something in there and break those loose, and it usually makes it easier for them to go back on too. So okay, skid plate and then other stuff, so we'll get started. I'm trying to keep the camera a decent way away from this, that way when fuel starts spilling it doesn't get on the camera. But I think I'll use my drain pan. Let's see if we can catch some of this. So we have a yellow tabbed quick release, and I think that's a blue one. The blue ones are always a little easier. You'll squeeze them and then slide them out. This one's got a little tab on top. It'll got some road grime in it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spray it with some penetrating fluid, and usually that gets some of the junk out. That way you can pop the tab out and then push on the tab next to it and it releases it. Okay, I just showed you guys how to do that, but those are in really bad spots, so I couldn't get the camera in there. But be patient with them. There's usually dirt in them. Spray some stuff in it, blow them out with air. Okay, so our fuel lines are disconnected there. I need to disconnect the water fuel sender. There. Okay, next thing I need to do is the filler neck. Yeah, there's really no good way. Anyway, what I'm going after is these clamps up here. I'm going to loosen those up and then I'll let you see. Got those nice and loose. Loosen them a lot more than you think. I mean, you can even take them off if you want. Okay, I'm gonna blow. Get some dust out of there. Lube them up. I usually take like a pick like this. It's angled. These are snap-on, but there's all kinds of other brands. And go in between the hose and the pipe. You don't really want to dig. All you want to do is kind of break up that connection, because sometimes they can kind of stick over time. Okay, those probably are loose. Now I'm going to put the jack up underneath. Now I'm going to put the jack up underneath, the transmission jack underneath the tank, undo the mounts for the tank, and start working my way down and checking for anything around the tank. Now, now that I think about it, I probably have the fuel pump and fuel sender connector, but I think the tank can come down a little ways. Okay, now what I can do is I'll get this on the ground, and then I'll transfer parts over to the new tank. Okay, before we transfer parts, I want to show you the electrical connector and everything up here. That way you get a better idea. It may help you. So here is the fuel pump and lines and fuel sender, and the connector is on the back side here. You can see it right there. And this is the electrical connector, just a 4-pin. Just one tab, if I remember correctly, and I'm pretty sure this tank has been down before, just from another thing that I saw. It probably will have a safety tab on the back side. This one did not, so you're just going to squeeze right here, and it'll release the tab. You may have to go in from this side, basically where my hand is, and get a pick on that. Sometimes you can blow air in there, just like we did with the fuel lines, spray some penetrating fluid and then some air and knock junk out of there and get that tab out. I figured this is a good time to show you how to take these loose. These connectors are usually the biggest pain on these trucks. Lord. There we are. And you see I keep working that top one loose, make it sure. Push in, clip down. There we are, we're loose. That one's already there. I'll have to pop those lines. Now I can go after this fuel filter housing, and there's a Torx underneath and then some tabs, and it slides up. Okay, this is the screw that came out of the bottom. It's just straight up from underneath. It's between the tank and the fuel filter housing, and it holds the fuel filter housing kind of in place. And then, trying to remember, I think it just pops up. Acts like it's going. A lot of dirt. Joke dirt. Ow. Well, don't do that. Looks to be in good shape. We'll find out. If I need to replace it, I'll replace it. Okay, they make tools to get these off, but you can use a hammer and a drift. Note where your studs are here, because those need to go in the same spot, because that brace or that metal bracket that went over top of this lines up properly. The holes on it line up for the connector and the fuel lines. Okay, next we got the filler neck and the vent tube. These are just 8 millimeters, just like they were up at the top. Get those as loose as possible. You can do this with coolant hoses too. You don't want to get crazy with it. Oh, let me. You don't want to damage it, but what you'll do is you'll first get on it and just see if you can crack it loose, because they get stuck to hoses sometimes or pipes, and then you'll get towards the end. We can see right here is swelled up, and that's that bevel on the tank edge here. So what you'll do is you'll squeeze just in front of it, and a lot of times then it'll kind of pull the hose off, and then you'll go a little bit more and you'll keep wiggling it off. It makes it pretty easy. Try to show you on this one. Use a pair of pliers on this one. Okay, so this one's already loose, but we'll act like we popped it loose. We go right in front of the bevel and it pulls it right off of there. And we'll go and we'll just keep working our way. Squeeze. Comes right off. Flew it up a little bit. Blown apart already. There we are. Try it now. Still not. thumb. It's usually when you feel like you're going to break it, you get it. Yep, there it went. Yeah, I'll check all the rest of them. Okay, I'm going to double check the directions, make sure I don't miss anything for this new tank. Maybe something has to be done. And I'd say we're probably ready to go up in there. So let me double check and I'll get back with you. Okay, I have to partially install one of the mounts here. So I'm going to grab all that and start doing that. I have to say I'm not very impressed with the directions at this point. It just says partially install. And they give you some all thread, a couple plates and some nuts, I think one little spacer. Oh, I think I go, okay, wait a second. What? Wait a second here. Wait a second. Okay, you go, when doing this, you can see I've already got it hanging. I was thinking you had to get the nut in that cross member. No, go to the top, there's plenty of room. And I'm taking the big washer, and that's what I want to do because I feel like there's going to be more pressure up here than down below, but that's just my thought. Get this nut back up here. It's a lock nut. It's a little gold lock nut that came in the kit. I'm going to put that there. I'm going to thread this all thread into it. And I was trying to tighten it by hand. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. So, I know it's a cringe, but put a vice grip on the all thread. I'm not going to be putting anything up this high. I'm going to use the lower portion of the threads. Now it had this plate on, and then it had, I believe, 2 more nuts holding that in place. And this one goes, I should have put it on a long time ago, because who knows if I'll get it all the way up. Figure tighten those up so they don't rattle. Okay. That is ready. We are ready to go in with the tank, finally. Okay, I need to put the rear mount on before I get the filler neck. Well, that changes everything. They had that on wrong from when they manufactured it. If you look, one side's higher than the other. That would be my problem. There we go, it slid right on. That clamp in place. Okay, we got the fuel tank in. Everything is back together. You can't put the skid plate back up. I don't think you can. Well, no, it hangs this tank, I think what I read, hangs like an inch lower or something like that. So, as you can see here, if we're looking from the side there's a running board. Well, that's about, so you can see that tank hangs a little bit lower. I think it probably hugs that drive shaft about the same. See, it does hang a little bit lower, because I think the factory tank probably hangs about the same as that exhaust, but I don't think that'll be an issue. These trucks sit pretty high as it is, so it's definitely worth the amount of mileage you can get out of it now. Okay, that's going to wrap up the installation of the Titan 55-gallon fuel tank on the 2017 F250. This one has a short bed. It's a 4-door short bed, so this is the 55-gallon. If you had a long bed, you can get a 65-gallon. But that's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope this helps you guys if you're installing this yourself. That way you can see what I ran into before you actually run into it. The two main things were the front mount, just trying to get it figured out how to assemble it, and then the center mount was actually flipped. So just take it off the tank, flip it, it'll go right in place. Other than that, everything's just a little bit tighter because that tank takes up so much room in the frame. And I mean, other than that, really, that's about it. But good luck. Hopefully this makes it easier on you. If you would, like and comment, and if you enjoy the videos, subscribe. Thanks a lot. See you later.